Hello and welcome. I am your host, Truth of Nitrous. And I've had a good week or so to think about the Rand Paul endorsement. And now, finally, I'm going to give my take on this whole Rand Paul endorsement of Willard Mitt Romney. And yes, folks, Rand Paul endorsed the Mormon fucktard who sucks the financial dick of Goldman Sachs. No offense to the Mormon people. So when I first heard of Rand Paul endorsing Romney, I thought of it as some bullshit internet rumors. But then I found a video of it confirming what I actually heard of. Rand Paul endorsing Romney. And after I saw that video, I was in complete and utter shock. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Am I living in the fucking Twilight Zone here? I mean, really? Fuck. Well, it just gets even more crazier as it goes. Fucking forward. So I got an audio of Rand Paul endorsing Romney. Sorry, everybody. I kind of had to edit the audio in it just so I don't get a copyright notice because Viacom owns the fucking mainstream media, prostitute whore media. Did I say media twice? I said fuck it. Whatever. So here is Rand Paul endorsing Romney on Fox freaking News. Yep.
Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky made big news this week when he finally endorsed Mitt Romney for president. He's late jumping on the bandwagon, of course, because his father, Texas Congressman Ron Paul, also was a candidate for the Republican nomination. We caught up with Senator Paul just yesterday.
You know, I've always supported my dad. He's always been my first choice and still is my first choice. I worked, when I was 11 years old, I knocked on doors for him. I worked in every one of his campaigns. But the nomination is now done, and Romney has achieved the amount of delegates that's necessary to be the nominee. Those are just facts. And I've decided to endorse Romney after meeting with him and talking about a lot of areas that we actually do have common ground on.
You mentioned your father. I want to play something that your dad said on CBS in April. Listen.
I have no common ground on economics. I mean, he isn't worried about the Federal Reserve. He isn't worried about the foreign policy. He doesn't talk about civil liberties. So I have a hard time to expect him ever to invite me to campaign with him.
So has something changed since then? Is your father going to, do you know, I know you can't speak for him, but do you know, your son, is he going to endorse Mitt Romney?
I don't know, but I did talk with Mitt Romney about some of the issues that are important to me, my father, and many of his supporters, like audit the Fed. Mitt Romney supports audit the Fed and has and did come out for that during the campaign. Will he talk about the Fed as much or as eloquently as my father? Maybe not, but he is supporting audit the Fed, which is a big deal for myself and many of our supporters.
Did you talk about the possibility of joining his ticket?
No, we didn't talk about that.
Would you consider it?
I'd say what I've said before, that I think it would be an honor, and I think anybody who says they wouldn't be honored by it isn't being honest. I mean, a year and a half ago, I was a physician in a small town, and to be honored, it would be a great honor to be considered as a vice president for the Republican Party. I think that would be something that anybody who said otherwise would not be being truthful.
Listen, you people, I've told you this before, a lot of people love your father. He has rabid supporters, a lot of young people as well. And in March, Time Magazine quoted an advisor for your father saying, if you're talking about putting Rand on the ticket, and this is a quote, of course, that would be worth delivering our people to Romney. So the question is there a possible deal, some sort of deal going on here? If you're on the ticket, will your dad send his supporters Romney's way?
No, no real secret deal. I always tell people if there's a secret deal, it's so secret that I don't know about it. But I would say that my dad's supporters are very, very independent. Many conservatives and libertarians are independent people, and I don't pretend to speak for them. They will have to make up their own mind. Some of them might be influenced to at least hear the governor out, listen to the areas of common interest. They're not going to agree with everything Governor Romney stands for.
Did Romney's health care plan in Massachusetts that's been compared to the president's plan, did that give you pause at all in your support of Mitt Romney, and did you discuss that with him?
We didn't discuss Obamacare because I think he's been pretty clear that he'd give all 50 states waivers. And it does seem to be that he takes the 10th Amendment position is that states are allowed to do things the federal government's not allowed. Now, had I been in Massachusetts, I probably would not have favored it.
And Senator Rand Paul says he would rather focus on the future than, in his words, relitigate Romneycare.
So, my take on this whole Rand Paul endorsement of Romney. Well, I could see this played out in various different ways, and I'll provide you people with a couple viewpoints of how I see this being played out, both negative and a positive outlook, because for every action there is always an equal and opposite reaction. Outlook number one. This, of course, is a positive outlook, by the way, because Rand's endorsement, in the case of either Romney either winning or losing, I see him going up as the nominee for the Republicans for the 2016 elections and the 2020 elections. Outlook number two. Outlook number two is also a positive outlook. I see Rand Paul getting the running mate slot with Romney, which then leads to outlook number three. Outlook number three, in the case for Romney winning the election with Rand Paul as his running mate, I see Rand Paul being VP, which then leads to outlook number four. In the case for Rand Paul being VP, say Romney gets hit by a magic bullet. Then, in the case for that, Rand would then be president. Outlook number five. This, of course, is a negative one. I see since Rand endorsed Romney, the Republicans would then stab him in the back. Because, of course, he was against the Federal Reserve, which of course is a private bank. Outlook number six. Since the endorsement, I see the Republicans turning Rand into a complete neocon. Somewhat like what you usually see as the average Republican. So now what I really think, what my gut is pretty much just telling me, I think that the Republican establishment would completely destroy Rand Paul because, well, he was for ending the Federal Reserve, which of course is a private bank, very similar to the Bank of Canada. Well, that's all I have for you people. I'll be having New World Order, We the People versus Them, the Collective,